I feel like we really hide from what we really need to do to change. And to change is really to accept that you're doing something wrong at the current moment and making even just the intention, the thought to figure it out. And then once you figured it out, having the urgency to do something with that knowledge is so important. I've recently noticed some things and that I've made changes, and these changes have made massive change, like differences in my gameplay, and every single day of just getting better. I had a 5-year-old monitor, which I had, and I really didn't really want to fully commit to buying something new and spending all that money because, of course, not everyone, we don't know what our future holds, and we don't know, like, it could just be a waste of money. But I think I finally had that commitment that, I just had enough. I had enough of dying and feeling like I can't control myself because everything just felt so delayed, and I never really figured out the problem, and maybe I wasn't even really looking for that problem in the first place. And that comes to the topic of our video. We're going to be talking about how to kind of avoid stagnation, how to avoid our stubbornness as human beings because it's natural, and how when that thing really snaps in your head, when you finally had enough, people are willing to do anything to fix their issues and to put in any amount of effort to get done what they need to get done. For example, let's say as an overweight kid, as a child, I it was almost impossible for me to lose weight when I tried to. But the moment I just had enough, I had enough of people just saying things about it to me. I've had enough of people rubbing it in my face, or let's say in when like whatever sports you're in, if you've had enough of just being held back by your own incompetency or own lack of willing to do something, and the like, it's not even just self-hatred. It's more like you're just you just can't will yourself to do it, even though you want to do it. But that will really comes into play when you hit your kind of lowest point, and that's where it came down to this week. I'm just sick of losing over and over again, and people just saying things, and even if it's like, even if people what they say doesn't matter, it of course it's gonna get to you. And I wouldn't say try not to let it get to you, but in some ways that's one of the main reasons why people change in the first place. If you, I really had no urgency of getting better in the last few months because like there was no drive pushing me to do it. I was just forcing myself to do it. But that really spark is kind of born when you finally had enough. You just had enough of being in the same spot. And I think everyone has that moment. And even if you have to push yourself into that moment, it is possible because I've been waiting for that spark for so long because I had that spark when I first started, and I was putting in so much work and doing Kovacs every day and all this, but then it's just gone. Once you start stagnating, once you start getting distracted, and that how to bring that out is I think one of the hardest things in anything. Because how do we get to that point at the beginning? You think everyone gets motivation for the first 5 minutes of doing something, or the first night of saying like, I'm actually gonna put my time into this. I'm actually gonna commit to this. I'm actually gonna put all my time, resources, and effort into it. But after that day's over, it's kind of gone. That feeling is just gone. You don't have that anymore, and it really takes like something bad happening, or you just getting to that point where like you're just over with, and it's that point where you either make a change or you quit, and that I think defines you in the end as a person in anything. They're willing to keep going, and I've always really had that discipline, but it's not just about the discipline, it's also about the motivation. Because if you're disciplined, you're doing something every day, but you're not actually like doing new things every day, and that's really the hardest thing to get, I feel like, because that's more of motivation, where people say they have a lack of motivation, but they don't want it enough, or they just don't have they just don't have an emotional attachment to what's going on. So that emotional attachment, after just it's basically when you get down to it, when you're desperate. Disparity like puts results in. Like if you're desperate for food, you're gonna find food somewhere. You're gonna make your own path. You're gonna fight to it, whatever you have to do, and that's the part you want to get to. And I feel like that's the point I kind of just hit after just having enough. I think I spent $400 in all on new RAM, new monitor, and that like completely changed everything. But I was just too lazy to ever order stuff, and I didn't have that care in it that like a desperate person cares so much. Their heart and soul is into it because it's everything to them. Whether it's trying to find food or whatever, it's just that you have one goal and you're gonna drop everything to get that goal. So I think that's what will help me in the end. I've definitely started coming back this season. We've had some okay placements back with some top 2000s. We really started the season out with terrible stuff when moving to college. But now my setup feels much better. I have new setup. Everything feels so much less delayed. I can actually get kills and stuff and key. I wasn't really trying to qual the last solo cup because I couldn't play finals, but I had like an average of 4 kills a game and keying everybody in endgame and mid game and stuff. And while I missed qual by only a few points because the placement's a little bit wonky in the solo cup, I really saw the progress because I was actually able to key and kill people, and I won every single fight in most of my solo games. And I don't know, I'm just seeing progress, and I actually got a gameplay today. I played 2 games of ranked. One of the games I actually had to leave because somebody invited me, but they both were 4 kills, and those were 2 games right next to each other. So it was wild to like I was struggling to find gameplay and stuff in the last few weeks. But once I've got this new setup, I'm a completely different player now, and I see large improvements ahead. So I hope you guys stick with me. I hope you guys got something from this video, even if you didn't learn that much. I hopefully it just got your mood up, or at least encouraged you to try something different and really push to strive, watch VODs, change different game modes you're playing, like play more scrims if you are bad at IGLing, or getting better at fighting if you're not as good as fighting. It's just to push yourself, or even to spend $100 when you have that $100, but you're just too, you don't want to commit yourself to it because that commitment has too many bounds on your life, but you have to accept and sacrifice. So that's really it, guys. I hope you guys have an amazing night, and you guys really appreciated this. So goodbye, everyone.